I want to push you around. Well, I will. Well, I will. I want to push you down. Well, I will. Well, I will. I want to take you for granted. Well, I want to take you for granted. Yeah, well, I will. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground lair, where we are coming at you, the official resistance to Tim Walz and his bag of terrible ideas that he is seeming to unleash upon us like a plague.
Well, he might have unleashed, but we let him.
Well, that's true. We could have tried a little. No, I don't mean you and me could have tried a little harder. You and me didn't let him.
Well, yeah,
but,
I did. I voted for none of the above. But,
well, I don't think one vote made the difference there, but it was maybe 5. You share a little bit of the blame then, yes.
It's okay. Don't blame me. I get blamed for everything anyway, so why not blame me? Now, Jay, can I say something straight out here? I have heard that song 1,000 times and have no idea who sings it.
Yeah.
So I can't even give myself an eighth of a point because I can't even guess here. Huh. So, but I think I heard that song like yesterday.
Probably. I mean, if you listen to something like I don't know what you were listening to, KS95 or something.
104 maybe on the radio.
104 maybe. Yeah. I want to push you around. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will.
Heard it a million times. The Smashing Pumpkins?
No. Matchbox 20.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
they both had a number in the name.
KQ, it could have been. No. I don't. I know I've literally heard that 5,000 times.
Oh, absolutely.
Who's the lead singer? Dave Matthews? Right?
No.
What's
his name
What
now?
band is Dave Matthews the lead singer?
I always think he looks like my brother.
What singer? What band is Dave Matthews the lead singer of?
Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That one's kind of easy.
Whoops.
Rob Thomas. That's his name.
Thomas.
Yeah, that's his name. He did that song with Santana that got way too much airplay.
Tito?
Yes. Tito Santana. Yes.
Okay. And I don't know what song that is. So
it was called the Electric Burrito or something like that, right?
Oh,
wasn't that something that Bobby Heenan said in a match once with Tito Santana?
Flying jalapeno.
That was it.
Yeah, hit him with that extra paste picante. See, again, I've said this before. You want to make wrestling popular again, it has to be controversial.
Right.
Otherwise, all that watches it are wrestling dork internet fans who read Dave Meltzer and rate matches. And that's, as long as that's the target audience, wrestling will get the 1.3 rating that you currently get. So,
well,
you can't harness the ratings anymore. TV's changed. It's not possible to garner the ratings they had in the 90s when you have 5,000 channels versus 50. It'll never happen. So.
Nothing gets the same ratings.
Well, I don't know how you could rate anything now when you can tape things, when you can watch Hulu or Netflix or Peacock. You can watch it later. You can stream it. I don't understand how you rate that. To me, it's just impossible now. I guess you could only go by advertising dollars. That's the only thing that you could. They have a rating system somehow because they pay for ads.
Yeah, which shows bring in the most money. I mean, if you're going to work like a corporation, I guess that's really the way to do
it. Screw you, corporations. I've never been so anti-corporate. I'm beyond anti-corporate. I hate them all.
Yeah,
it's just. I mean, I don't even. I sit here and I try to invest my money.
Yeah.
Okay, like my IRAs and stuff. I don't want to invest in that.
Right.
I hate that company. I don't care if their stock went up. I don't want to be part of it.
Right. I mean, now they're all just like equally terrible.
There's some exceptions, but largely
very rare.
Largely a publicly traded company is largely in bed with government or with the big banks, or maybe they think they have to be. I don't know.
They do. I mean, a lot of them are kind of prisoners of this whole woke agenda thing. Some of them are on the forefront.
It's hard to believe that, though, with the worldwide. To me, these corporations know no laws. They know no boundaries. go look at Bill Gates' income taxes and tell me
Right.
he knows any boundaries or anything.
Oh no,
What-
and he's on the forefront.
What are you
of this
afraid
stuff.
of?
I mean,
This
that's the thing, though. Bill Gates is absolutely on the forefront of this stuff, but you get like
all my tax dollars he gets for free.
right, but you get like a Budweiser. I think they were kind of dragged into it. They hired some whatever just out of college that to be their marketing head of marketing, and she.
How does a company that big make that mistake?
Because you can no longer get funding if you're not woke enough, and now it's
What do they need funding for? Anheuser-Busch is
but now it's starting to get into the insurance companies, where insurance companies are even threatening to cancel insurance on companies if they don't do certain things.
fine. We won't have insurance then.
Yeah. Well, you tell that.
Here's a question though.
Yeah.
At some point, isn't an insurance company going to come along and say, "Hey, we'll do business with you"?
I hope so.
I mean, at some point, that's going to happen. And it happens
Maybe
in
I should
every
start
free
that
market.
company.
In every free market,
Yeah.
it happens. Look at anything, whether it's legal or illegal.
Yeah.
If there's demand for it, it gets filled somehow.
yes,
So
it will. I think.
why doesn't Anheuser-Busch make their own insurance company? They have the money to make their own insurance if they
Right.
want to. Hire a
suppose.
25-year-old insurance agent and have them create their own. I mean, there's
Yeah, absolutely.
a million ways to get around that.
Now, I don't know how that works within states, and insurance is so regulated. But I mean, if you can get it, like if you're Anheuser-Busch and you're in Missouri, you got a lot better chance of being able to do something like that than you do, say,
California, New York, Illinois.
Summit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know the answer to that. I hate corporate. I hate all of you. Just can't
Yeah.
stand
Well,
anything.
there's no backbone. And,
You and
know what?
government deserve each other. You both suck equally. You deserve each other.
Boy.
Yeah. Well, hey, look. Sorry, but it affects our lives in every single possible way.
Absolutely.
So and I try not to be slaves to them. I tried to make my own personal statement, even if it means nothing. I have told people at Wells Fargo, as I've withdrawn money from there, why I'm doing it.
Good.
If you don't care, you don't care.
And
But
I would like to say to everybody listening to this today, that is so important. As you're stopping doing business with certain companies, let them know why. And, and especially if you deal with local branches of stores or small businesses that carry bigger products, or, and not that I'm all for boycotts. I think they
I'm really
can
not
work.
either.
but-
I just want them to know that their actions come with consequences.
Absolutely.
And if you're going to be in bed with companies don't have to take. Wells Fargo is a monster. They don't need to. Nobody can tell them what to do. Neither can the government.
Right.
The FDIC is separate from our government. Nobody can tell those bankers what to do.
No.
And they choose to do it. So if they choose to do it, then I'm going to let them know that, like you said, there are companies and stuff that it gets tough for them if certain circumstances happen. But it's angersome, and I just wanted to let them know that you can hate me if you want to, and that's fine. And if my X amount in my checking account, which is not I don't have an Elon Musk account, but if fact that I'm putting it somewhere else, there's a reason. You don't care, you don't care. But
I think it's important, and enough people do that, and they will begin to care, and they will see that enough of us aren't ready or willing to put up with all that garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's difficult. I think it is. I find it very hard to avoid the big banks. It's not easy. It's not easy accessing cash. It's not easy. You're paying fees everywhere. You can't. It's harder to deposit things. I still get a paper check from one job. It's not as simple as to make it sound, but I mean, it's just my personal stance that I'm taking. By the way, speaking of personal stances, I don't watch much news. I used to be a news junkie.
Yeah.
I think the corporate media, it is just so awful to watch. I mean, you got every horrible show from the Ditzes on The View to whatever knuckleheads on MSNBC have no idea who's on there, don't care. CNN, they reported news maybe 20 years ago. I don't know what they do now. Fox at one time was a place I go to. There were certain people. They're now out of people that I care to listen to. And I thought Tucker Carlson was a breath of fresh air on the air. I love somebody who just lets anybody have it. It doesn't cheerlead for one side or the other. And he's out at Fox News. And to think of all the people, that Fox has let go in the past, since O'Reilly left. I don't know when that was, but O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, Lou Dobbs, Dan Bongino,
Megyn Kelly,
over and over and over, and we're left with Josh Gibson. It just has become something I don't want to watch that either.
Yeah. So
what's the deal with Tucker? Why is he out?
There's a lot of speculation around that. I know that.
What is this lawsuit settlement? What does Tucker have to do with that?
I don't think anything other than, okay. So there's this lawsuit that Fox had with Dominion, right? And Tucker Carlson did have Sidney Powell and people like that on the show quite a bit, but he also did challenge Sidney Powell to provide evidence of her claims. So,
well, I've heard January 6th is another reason that he has done exclusives on, I'm sorry, Americans being held without trial.
Yeah.
We care about Guantanamo Bay prisoners, but we don't care about Americans.
Well, here's the deal. And this isn't being talked about a lot, but some of the top 10 holders of shares, so owners of Fox News Corp.
News Corp, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the monster, Rupert Murdoch's old company.
Yes.
I don't think he's there anymore. I don't think
he's kind of there.
I don't think he's got the day-to-day.
His kids run a lot of it, but he is still technically there. But Vanguard is one of the top 10 shareholders, as is BlackRock. Now, we've talked about those on the show before and what they're pushing with ESG. Well, Tucker went straight at ESG, and that was part of the reason. Back in February, BlackRock bought a whole ton more shares. I don't remember the percentage off the top of my head that they went up, but it was considerable. So there is...
So they're telling Tucker what to say?
No, they're not. They can't control Tucker, but they are controlling the direction of the company to some degree. And I think more importantly, they're telling Fox News, here are things I don't want you to say, right? You can sit and bash Democrats all day long. Fine, people expect that. But when you start uncovering things like ESG, when you start uncovering
ESG is on websites.
It is, but people don't pay attention to that. I mean, if it doesn't come through the mainstream media, I mean, most of the people aren't ever going to hear about it.
Yeah,
I mean, as shocking as it is,
like
not everybody listens to this show.
It's like Agenda 21. Agenda 21 was on the front page of the UN.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're making it up? You do just a media blackout on it. That's all. I mean,
right.
It's funny because I remember seeing Alan Colmes do. He took a lot of crap from the left. He's since passed away. But he took a lot of crap from the left for being on Fox News.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he did an interview. I can't remember who it was with. I shouldn't say I'll never forget because I can't remember who he was talking to. But Colmes he said, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And I mean this strongly. He goes, nobody at Fox News has ever come up to me and told me I have to have a certain opinion or I can't say this or... he goes, I'm encouraged to say what I think.
Right.
I'm encouraged. I was hired. I'm liberal, and I was hired here because I am. You say, because he always defended Fox News, saying they give conservatives a voice that they don't have in other media outlets. But nobody has ever walked up to me and told me I can't say something. And it's kind of like, and that's a rarity that you'd hear on the left.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very rare. You hear people, Robert Kennedy Jr. is one who says stuff like this, and you hear nobody, he's been blackballed, and you hear nobody talk about that. And Fox at one time was the most entrepreneurial place to work. I mean, when they opened, they got people, Bill O'Reilly came from, was he on A Current Affair? Is that where he came from?
I think he might have been, yeah.
Brett Hume was a longtime ABC correspondent. Yeah. I mean, they hired people that were a little different than the
right.
But it seemed like a entrepreneurial place to work. It seemed like a place where you were encouraged to debate and you were encouraged to present anything you could to the audience. And now it seems like they've gone the way of everybody else. Well, you can't say that.
Right.
And you can't report on that. And you can't make that comment. And you can't talk about this protected group. And where are we going with free speech in this country? Because if I can't turn on a news channel, if the news has rules, okay, there's certain things we're not going to tell you on purpose.
Right.
Then where do I get my news?
Right. Exactly. And I don't think it's so much that they lay down the law and say you will not talk about XYZ, but I think there's pressure put on them put on them to not talk about certain things. I know Glenn Beck and O'Reilly have both talked about how when they were there were certain things where they were encouraged very heavily not to talk about. And of course, like Tucker, they're kind of mavericks within their industry, and they would do whatever they wanted.
O'Reilly was at a point too where he probably was untouchable until he was sued by somebody. But
that was the excuse. But here's the deal.
That's true. That was the excuse. I don't know.
Because they were untouchable and they did what they wanted. I have heard, and
O'Reilly yelled and screamed at everybody.
Yeah, I've heard that Ailes would keep an investigative file on their top talent, and when they get online, they use that against them, and they'll leak things out to like CNN or Media Matters or whoever, and then they use that as the impetus to try and get rid of. I know Beck had told a story about.
Funny because I always thought Roger Ailes was such a genius behind Fox News.
And he is. However, he still did this kind of garbage, too. Glenn Beck, I know, has told a story where he walked into...
He's since passed away.
Glenn Beck?
Roger Ailes.
I know, I'm just kidding.
No,
he's like in his 90s, I think.
I thought he passed away.
I think Murdoch passed away. I think Rupert Murdoch passed away. Because they had the... Didn't they have
you just said Rupert Murdoch is still in control.
No, wait, sorry. Roger Ailes, yes. Roger Ailes passed away. Rupert Murdoch has not. Yes. Got it. Okay. So he'd called him into the office. There was it Murdoch or Ailes? Now you got me messed up. Anyways, there was a big thick file sitting on the desk, and he tried to make it sound like.
I'm sorry to interrupt. May 18th, 2017.
Roger Ailes. Okay. Away. And this big thick file was sitting on the desk, and tried to make it seem like he had the goods on Glenn Beck. Without saying it, he was intimating, I know that you've been in an affair, and I got the proof right here. He was making leading statements to make Glenn Beck believe that he thought, and Glenn Beck leans over and he's like, well, it's a good thing I haven't done any of those things. And, he put him in his place because he had lived a clean life and not done those things. But
the only thing on Beck was he was an alcoholic at one time. But he was very open about it.
Yeah, he talked about that a ton. But he was brought into the office and told, we've got this file. It's, So Fox does try to intimidate those who get out of line.
It's funny, these hosts that have brought them millions. How much money do you think Bill O'Reilly made for Fox News in the 20 years he was there? What do you think of
a lot?
I mean, the guy doubled Larry King's audience. What do you think he brought in? And then you force him out when you no longer have a use for him. That's corporate America.
But that's the thing. They could have had a use for him because he was still at the top of his game.
He still is. He does little YouTube bits of 5 minutes a day. They get millions of viewers.
Yeah.
He could start his own network if he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the consequences, it's so scary. We live in a world that's so scary right now. I talked about my Twitter suspension on my other show. About I still don't know why I'm still suspended. And I still don't know why. All they have to do is send you this vague, you violated blah, blah policy, and you're hereby suspended. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to do anything else.
Huh.
So, you look at Tucker interviewed Robert Kennedy Jr. About 2 weeks ago. And it was interesting to listen to people pretty opposite when it comes to a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But when it came to First Amendment, when it came to this corporate government relationship, what a startling conversation they had. I encourage people to go on YouTube and listen to it. And Robert Kennedy said so many things that you said about music, not about music, but about how the left used to be the counterculture. The left used to be non-compliant with the government. The left used to question everything that happened. And Kennedy pointed this out, that the left does whatever the government tells them.
Yes.
They say support Ukraine, they wave Ukrainian flags. If they say go get a vaccine, they go get one. And no one asks a thing.
But here's the difference. Back when the left was the counterculture, the right didn't shut them down and censor them and black them out of everything. They just had better ideas and they won on better ideas. But now, with the right being the counterculture, with Christianity being the targets and the counterculture, they're trying to censor them. They're trying to black them out of things. They're trying to cancel them. This is the difference between right and left, and why when you have radical leftists that are totalitarian in nature and their goal is total control.
Well, that's the only way the left works.
That is how they work.
That's the only way the left can work, is with absolute control over everything.
Yeah.
It's the only way it ever has worked. If you look at every totalitarian regime, they're all left-wing. Every single one of them. It is not capitalism. Fascism is not capitalism. Fascism is liberal. It's taking over industries, getting the trains to run on time. Yeah. That's not conservative.
No. Socialism is never conservative. Communism is never conservative.
I don't like most isms. I just want people to know most isms I don't like.
Right.
President Biden announcing his re-election on a quirky video the other day. I'm going to say something scary. I think he can win. I'm going to throw this out there. The guy's 147, but it's weird when you look at the polling on this. A majority of Democrats are not happy with the president and really don't want him in 2024.
No.
But again, something's going on behind the scenes.
Right. Anybody but Orange Man.
It's partly about Trump.
Yep.
I think that's half fiction. I think it is something's going on though in the Democratic Party, because all these Democrats are saying that.
Yeah.
And they're whispering it, they're like cowards, and they won't come out and say something. A prominent Democrat that the media can't blackball is going to have to enter this race for anything to change.
Yeah.
And nobody's willing to stick their neck out and do it. So Biden's the candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be no doubt about it that he'll be the guy.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a tough race for him because he can't hide in the basement.
I think he's going to try.
And
I don't even know that he's going to debate. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. I always consider debates an opportunity. I don't look at them as a weakness. I think it's an opportunity when you debate. But I don't know that he can avoid all of them. I have said this before, the debates happen too late. They need to happen in August and September, not late October when 20% of the country's already voted. We don't change the schedule on that stuff. However, Republicans could screw up anything, and nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he won. I was surprised when he won last time.
Yeah.
But he can win it.
Yeah,
I
agree.
4 states are going to decide the election.
Absolutely.
It's Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia.
Yep.
And
yep.
again,
they haven't fixed those states.
No, and any Republican who wants to run, I have one question. How are you going to win those 4 states?
Yep.
I don't care what you believe. I don't care what your platform is. I don't care about any of that crap. I don't care about what you say on any issue. If you have no plan to win those states, then you have no chance to win.
And I'll make it even simpler. It really comes down to 4 counties, 1 county in each state.
Maybe.
It really does.
Well, Maricopa in Arizona. I mean,
Yeah.
the rest of the state's pretty red, and there's the other part that's blue. But I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part, I mean, that's the biggest county, so
Yeah.
that's the most important. Yeah, I mean, it does. Wisconsin's interesting because, I mean, that's probably the biggest 50-50 state I can think of.
It is.
I mean, it is literally 50.1 to 49.1. Pennsylvania's close.
Yeah.
And I think Georgia is the state I'm most head scratching about. I don't understand why that state has moved left while the state government continues to move right.
Right.
You look at Governor Kemp in the legislature; they have grown under him as governor. So I don't get the disconnect between the
I don't either.
party voting at the top and at the. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just strange to see him win by double digits and then.
But I tell you, around Philadelphia, it's just corrupt. I mean, I don't see a Republican of any stripe being able to win in that state. And then
I'd like to know the last Republican who set foot in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Rocky
Balboa.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have probably President Reagan. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
You're going to have to increase the percent there somehow. Even if you only win 30% of the vote, you're going to have to do something. And I think the key to Philadelphia, the same key everywhere. It's about jobs. It's about this interventionist foreign policy. It's about inflation. Excuse me. I mean, it's destroying everybody. The big cities are collapsing under their own weight. We'll get to that in a sec.
Well,
but
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, take in Wisconsin, they just had this Supreme Court election back in
I don't know what to make about elections like that, but
there was this. They funneled what was it, like $40 million into this state. Mega donors fuel over $40 million in donations for record-shattering 2023. Anyways, that's from PBS Wisconsin. That's not Fox News. That's there was major union money. There was and she wasn't somebody that normally would get elected in Wisconsin.
Well, again, an election in March, where you can. You're not competing with dollars from all these other candidates. I don't know what I read into that.
Yeah,
to me that's difficult. I think a Supreme Court vacancy means nothing for the election next year. Mm-hmm. Either way it had gone. I don't know that you can read much into that. That's just me.
And here's where I think we really fell down in 2022. And it happened again.
You mean you?
No. I mean just
opposition to the president opposition to the oligarchy that's going on in the country.
Yes. In pivotal, this is from Wisconsin Public Radio. In a pivotal Wisconsin Supreme Court race, young voters turned out. Youth organizers said campus turnout for Tuesday's election was without a precedent for spring election. And it goes on to give stats and stuff, but we know that to be true. And because of the abortion issue in Minnesota, especially, we saw a rise of young voters down in Northfield for, Gustavus Adolphus, Carleton College, all that down there. I'm probably
those people are hard to poll.
But voting in a Supreme Court election in 2023, in an off-time Supreme Court election, the young people turned out for that vote. I'm not understanding
So
because
they
it's
say.
never happened before.
Well, I always say this: if you rely on young people, you'll go the way of George McGovern.
Well.
I don't know that. Look again, and things can change. I mean, this is the other thing. When I voted when I was 19, believe me, I vote a lot differently today. I don't buy that these people are all going to show up every time, vote the same. There's no generation that's ever done that. So I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
They can fall for a one-issue propaganda. That's possible. Everybody who's 20 years old is not pro-drugs and pro-abortion. So
No.
but again, that's where that organizing at the
community
bottom
organizing.
starts, and that's something that Democrats do extremely well, and have done it better for a long, long time now.
Yeah.
And so
But again, Republicans have no answer to this.
no, they don't. They have nothing to appeal to those people. Zero. They don't know how to market freedom. They don't know how to market lower taxes. A lot of millennials are living with their parents till they're 40. They're not affected by gas prices or things like that, like regular people are, being
Right.
scrunched. I think Republicans need to take a stance on. One thing they really need to take a stance on is education. I mean,
Yeah.
and getting out of student debt. And we need some ideas there. Mm-hmm. It's easy to go rip on President Biden. That takes no talent or time at all. But what do you say to a kid who has to blow $100,000 to get a degree? What are your alternatives?
Yeah.
And the Republicans' plan is nothing. Same thing with healthcare. You can't have as an answer portability. What the hell does that mean?
Right.
I mean, if one party's offering free stuff, okay, you can't counter that with an intellectual argument.
No.
It will never work.
You have to convince them that getting free stuff in the long run is going to hurt them. But this over here that you're going to offer, you have to have something to bring to the table, is going to put them in a position to be far more successful in the long run.
And I'm going to tell you this straight out. They have got to take a pro-labor stance. They have got to get. There are so many trade unions, and I don't like calling them blue collar workers who are pro Second Amendment.
Yep.
They are pro lower taxes, but they want their labor rights protected. And if
They're also pro-family, but most of them have families.
Go to church. I mean, there's a missed opportunity. I think President Trump got to some of those people.
Yes.
I think President Reagan had done it in a previous generation, and then it's been walked back. President Trump clearly got to them because he won those states. And I'm telling you, though, a lot of those voters might have made the difference.
West Virginia and Ohio have flipped significantly.
West Virginia is the reddest state in the country now. That's Robert Byrd. Everything's named after Robert Byrd. I mean, and I'm not telling Republicans to abandon everything they believe in, but you if everything's going to be a contest, this is the problem with caucus and primaries. They're all going to try to out conservative each other. And the purists everywhere are going to have their pet issue, and you've got to be good on their pet issue. And I'm going to tell you something. None of that means anything if Joe Biden gets reelected.
Right.
So, I don't know. I have no confidence that I have zero confidence that anything is going to happen if Republicans squeak by with a win in 2024. I have no confidence that they're going to govern. I always say this to Republicans: screw your principles during an election and govern with your principles instead of doing the opposite. So,
well, look at how Donald Trump ran the first time. It was like, look at how bad all of this stuff sucks. And guess what? I'm going to make it not suck.
Well,
and it worked.
Well, and I think, unfortunately, had the Republicans done what I hate to say what Minnesota Democrats are doing, had they repealed and replaced Obamacare with something better,
Nope.
had they supported the president on some of his other ventures.
Yep. They didn't do it. It was like pulling nails to get the wall started.
And they had a bigger tax cut than the watered down one that we had. I think there's no question President Trump would be in office. There's no question. I think Republicans would have both houses right now. They stalled, didn't do what they promised to do, and had no case to get reelected.
Well, of course not. So many of them, though, have their fingers dipped in the pie, too. Yeah. Your Mitch McConnells and your Mitt Romneys and your Adam Kinzingers.
Okay, Mitch McConnell, I got an idea. How about the Senate Republicans get together and elect somebody else?
That would be nice.
How about that? How about somebody run?
Holds his little bag of money over their heads. You're not getting a dime if you vote against me.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Your job as a congressman is not to bring other people's tax dollars to your state. Fine.
Oh no.
Screw your. You're in there for 6 years. Yeah. Okay. But there's a small group of people doing that. There's the Rand Pauls, the Mike Lees, the Ron Johnsons.
Yep.
There's 6 of them
yep.
who do that, and they get abandoned too. Ron Johnson was abandoned. He won.
Oh yes.
He won re-election on his own.
He did.
I mean,
against a guy that was a nightmare. If he had been elected,
but he was well funded, and he
goodness.
was outspent Johnson by quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's no public financing when it comes to Senate races. The FEC doesn't allow that. So there's. All right, we've gone way overboard. But I guess
we did have a topic tonight.
Yeah, yes. But I mean, I guess getting back to Tucker, it just stinks that you get paid to give an opinion, and then when you give an opinion that people don't like, it's instead of debating you on it, or get back to the Dominion lawsuit for a minute. 2020 election. I voted for Donald Trump.
Yes.
I believe Donald Trump lost. That doesn't mean that asking questions about mail-in balloting or early voting or why it takes Arizona 6 months to count ballots means that I'm an election denier.
No.
Okay? I mean,
that's a word that they made up because it sounds good, it polls good, and it's a way
from a focus group or a think tank.
It's a way for people who want a shortcut to thinking.
Yeah, well, so it's a way to paint anybody who, who... And I go back to the Bush-Gore election, and who were election deniers back then?
Right.
If we can't ask anything, I've been an election judge.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw things that I questioned. Right. Am I a denier? If
Hillary Clinton still thinks she won,
Al Gore still thinks he won Florida. Point being, I will say this to my dying day: Al Franken never won an election in this state.
Yeah.
And I stand by that as an election judge.
Absolutely.
I testified to it at the Minnesota State Legislature. Nobody's refuted a word I've said. So again, I come back to the result was the result. But how is it that we can't? How is it that it was okay to criticize a hanging Chad in 2000, but it's not okay to criticize a state that can't count votes? It takes months to count votes.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why hasn't that been fixed? Why hasn't that been changed?
Who
is responsible for it?
And it still hasn't been fixed.
No, and the same thing happened in 2016.
Yeah.
It took 4 days to declare President Trump the winner there.
Yep.
Now, he had already won, so the focus wasn't on it the way it's been the last 2 go-arounds with Kerry Lake's election and all that. And the Secretary of State running for governor, that's not a conflict of interest?
Exactly. Thank you. I mean, she can run for governor.
That's like the
it's like the Fox.
The Twins are playing the Yankees, and the Yankees manager is the umpire.
Right.
Golly. All right. Moving on. I don't know where we're going. That's the longest opening we've ever had. My ears are sore.
Well, there is a lot to complain about, unfortunately, and not that we complain for complaining's sake, but there's a lot that needs fixing. There's a lot that we need to think about, because if we don't start addressing these things, we're going to run the same problems, a year and a half from now.
Well, we're going to have them. There's no question we're going to have them. And like I said, the 4 states. that are going to be the hyper focus. And thank God I don't live in one, because it got so bad. I couldn't watch a Vikings game in October.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't watch if I saw Angie Craig's crazy eyes one more time, just those eyes that never blink. Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah. Well, Nevada's another one that needs to get fixed too. I don't think they fixed that one. That one, I don't know, took way too long to count that race.
What is it with these Western states? I mean, how is it that Florida had every vote counted by like 10:30? In Nevada, they were counting votes on Christmas break. How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean,
you know what? I got to tell you, whoever put over the years since 2000, you've got to really give a lot of credit to whoever has changed the way Florida does things, because they are the best. They're the best at early voting. They're the best at getting the numbers in. Even the Democratic counties are very good at it. They are, Texas also is exceptional. And why doesn't Arizona call up DeSantis or call up Greg Abbott? Hey, what are you guys doing over there? It's kind of like if you saw a successful football team. Yeah. Why don't you call up their GM and ask them what they're doing?
Well, because the governors are dumb. That's why. I mean, look at Michigan, and how different story, but allowing China, a company with ties to the Chinese Communist Party, to come in and buy land and set up shop, and I'm sorry, but
everybody was kung fu fighting. How about all the land they're buying in North Dakota? I think they stopped them, actually.
They did stop them.
I think they stopped it up there.
Yeah, they were looking at buying something, and
now get it away from Bill Gates. He's just as Chinese as they are.
Well,
or whoever else owns all the land out there. I don't know who it is. I'm not sure if it's in our government's hands that's any better. It's just me.
Yeah.
You want to move on here, or should we just talk about this the whole time?
Yeah, we can move on.
What have we got? 45 minutes on this crap? I could go another 3 hours if you want to, Jay. I mean,
only 42.
I got 5 days off work here. I can do anything.
Oh, yeah, we're in bad shape.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't have the solution to it. I mean, I wish there's a magic wand I could wave, but there just isn't.
I don't recognize my country anymore. I don't recognize the people in my country anymore. I thought that Americans were able to come together on a general set of ideals, and I don't know that I believe that anymore.
Americans are encouraged to be divisive. I mean, they're encouraged to shut up somebody they don't agree with. They're encouraged to hate somebody they don't agree with. I mean, if you're a casual observer of this, I mean, it gets to the point I'm embarrassed to be in politics sometimes. I'm in it because it's in my blood. I didn't choose it. It chose me. That's the bad part. It's kind of like being a great artist or a great musician or a great, you're great with this and that, and it's just a natural talent. I'm stuck. I'm stuck for life. I can't get out. I want out so bad, and I can't do it. Can't do it. Not until my term as governor is over. I'll fix this stuff then.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm out of it. I'm out of it for good. Then I'll go be a consultant for Chase Manhattan or something. Be a lobbyist for them.
Really?
Why not? I mean, you can't. Just join them. I'm just at the. Just join them.
Such a bomb thrower.
Just join them.
Whatever. It's a good thing I know you don't mean any of that.
Well, I mean it 10%.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But as long as the other 90's there.
Yeah. But things aren't getting too good at the local level either. And, there are a lot of groups that are trying to get your city councils, your county boards, your school boards to move in the general direction that the rest of the country is moving. And so when we talk about all this stuff that's happening at the national level, I mean, in the state level, it's also happening at the local level. And we've got these groups that are designed to put policy forward and create these trends so that everybody at the local level grabs onto it. And by everybody, I mean the people that are working in administration, and they put these ideas forward, and all of a sudden city council are shaking their head in agreement. Oh, that sounds great. And all of a sudden you're living in a nightmare.
Huh. Can we make the case that maybe city council people need to be like full-time and that's all they do?
Yeah.
Because to me, how do you counter these smart cities and these people who implement this stuff 24/7,
Right.
365 days with a part-time council that you and I both know does minimal homework.
Right.
They've got a career of their own, a family of their own, and they can't dedicate every waking minute to this garbage. Do we need full-time city councils and mayors? I mean, we've talked about it with mayors, but do we need...
I think we do need strong mayors that can take control of their administration and try to guide them rather than be guided by them. But I've also always argued that there is a very easy cure to all the money, all the influence, all the side groups. It's very simple. It's a 2-letter word: no. When people start to learn to say no, then they have all the power they need to not let this stuff come in and change the place they live.
Can I tell you a little secret?
Yeah.
This is a secret. I've never told anybody this before.
Okay.
The word no is my favorite word.
Really?
I love saying no.
Wow.
No. I just love saying. I don't say it often enough. Want that piece of pizza? No.
Huh.
But I do.
Yeah.
No is my favorite word. And I tell you what, this is why when I'm governor, it's going to be so great in this state. Because the amount of vetoes that I am going to push,
Yeah.
the amount of line item vetoes, I'm going to Grover Cleveland every bill.
I love it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Take this omnibus hodgepodge of trash in front of us. Now, of these 100 things, there may be 5 things I like.
Yeah. That's good.
And there's going to be, I don't care what the bill says, 90% of it I'm going to hate. Doesn't matter if it's right or left.
Right.
Lobbyists and lawyers will have written most of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get that veto out. I'm going to have, you know what I'm going to have? I'm going to have like a special like veto, like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And it's going to come in and just I'm going to veto it so hard. I'm going to go through tables. I'm going to knock chairs over when I veto it. And I want to make, and here's the other thing too. I don't like making a public spectacle out of something.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why that bothers me. I don't know. I don't like signing ceremonies. I don't like doing that. I think, and I also don't like a governor that influences the legislature. It's like, no, you make law, I enforce law.
Right.
So you go ahead, debate, and do your thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I will after I veto it, but I'm not going to tell you what to do beforehand because that's a conflict of interest there. I mean, if the governor's part of the legislature, then you don't have a governor. So I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring a dump truck in. I'm going to bring everything in to veto it as hard as humanly possible. So that'll be what happens. And if you think you in the legislature you're gonna pass something, you're gonna get your picture taken with me, no, that ain't gonna happen. I know you want it. They all do. Everybody thinks I like to rub elbows with those people, but they like to rub elbows with me, Jay. It goes both ways.
Is that how it works?
So that's what's gonna happen. So anyway.
Yeah.
So you go back. I mean, I don't know where I was going with that, but here's the thing. My favorite word to say is no.
Yeah.
And what I can understand about city councils and mayors and people, and this is a problem that I see with this country generally speaking, is when somebody from government tells me something, somebody from corporate America tells me something, I have one rule. I assume the opposite is true.
Right.
It's their job. They are guilty of lying to me until they prove they're telling the truth. Every one of them is boss hog. Okay? Their word is as good as a milk bucket under a bull. I don't believe what they're saying. If they tell me a roundabout saves lives, well, you're going to prove that to me. And I'm not changing an intersection in my city until I get absolute proof, until I am confident that I'm not going to go tell a community what's going to happen. They're going to be involved at the beginning. Not the end, not after you've made the plans and drawn them up and they've been sitting in a drawer for a year.
Amen.
So why is it that nobody seems to look at this stuff, whether it's transit, streets, all this crap? Why is it nobody looks at it with a, if it came, this is what I'll tell people on the left, pretend Donald Trump said it. Mm-hmm. Pretend George Bush said it. Pretend Ron DeSantis said it. Now, apply that to everybody. See, on the right, it would be pretend the CDC is saying it.
Yeah.
Okay? Seriously.
Yeah.
Pretend the CIA is denying something. Whatever. You've done, CIA in this country has done 1,000 times worse than we know. Okay? Mm-hmm. Pretend Fauci's saying it. You wouldn't believe it for 2 seconds. So that's how you have to look at what your staff may be well-meaning. They may be nice people. They may be your friend. Doesn't mean they're doing what's best for your city.
Right.
Okay, so why is it that there's no skepticism when it comes to any? I don't see a drop of skepticism anywhere.
No. Nope. That's not to say 100% of things that come up get passed, but that is to say that there's a whole lot of stuff that shouldn't ever be passed.
And it's not to say everything is always bad. You want to maintain it, and you want to fine.
Yeah.
But if it comes from your city, that's one thing. If it comes from a group in London or a group in Copenhagen, that's something to. Why are they telling you how to build your street?
Right.
They don't live here. They don't pay for it.
Uh-huh.
So that's where I always come from. Why are they telling us what to do? Mm-hmm. Go fly a kite. Go jump in a lake. Go grill some celery. I don't know. Just get away from us. I don't know what they do. Every city's not the same, and we are pushing these cookie cutter cities. I'll tell you what. I'm so glad I want to live in the country. I hate the cities. I hate living here. Yeah. I want to live in the middle of butt F nowhere with nobody around me. That's what I want to do. I'm needed here, though, right now. Yeah. Right now, I'm needed here. But I mean, at some point, I want to unplug and live in the middle of nowhere because I can't take this stuff. I can't. This stuff is so everywhere. In a city where President Trump got 98% of the vote, you will find this crap.
Yes.
So, Jay, enlighten us here on what we're suffering through here.
Dumb
cities? Dumb cities we're at?
Well, I think that smart cities are dumb cities. Yes. You've probably heard the term before, smart city.
And we've said it over the years.
And what does that mean? There's smart cities are. How do I say it?
They suck. That's how you say they suck.
Well, yeah, obviously.
They list San Francisco and Chicago as smart cities. They're the two worst cities in this country.
Absolutely.
I like Chicago, though.
Well,
I wouldn't live there, but I'd go to Wrigley Field.
Here's a definition, okay? A smart city is a technologically modern urban area that uses different types of electronic methods and sensors to collect specific data. Information gained from that data is used to manage assets, resources, and services efficiently.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to stop you there. What the hell does that mean? This is what I take that to mean. We're gathering info on you.
Yes.
So we can control you.
Yes.
We can control where you go, where you spend, how you get there.
How much energy you use.
Yeah. How many times you pass gas in a day. That's what we're trying to do. It's not for my benefit. It's for government's benefit.
Yes. So, and it does actually say that. This includes data collected from citizens, devices,
of course it does.
Buildings, and
These people
assets.
are as naked as Playboy in what they say.
and it's processed and analyzed to monitor and manage traffic and transportation systems, power plants, utilities, water supply networks, waste, criminal investigations, information systems, schools, libraries, hospitals, and other community services. So
it's a one-way ticket to control everything we do. This is the digital dollar here.
Yes, it is the way to track and manage how everything happens. It's a planned society. It is no different than what is going on in China, where you gather information, you take that information and you analyze it, and then you use that to create your own little perfect sim city where, this building is using too much power at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Well, then we're going to have to limit the amount of power it's able to use. There are too many non-electric cars out on the road. Well, we're going to have to pass something so that the dealers are selling more electric cars. It is all of this. We got to raise the gas taxes because that's going to affect traffic. It's this whole deal where they have to have their fingers in everything. There's no freedom in how you live, even in the midst of your own home, which should be your sanctuary. They are checking your meter readings on water. They're checking your meter readings on electricity, and they try to institute only even days are for watering. There's a water ban.
There's a reason that cities have passed ordinances that you have to be on their water. You have to be.
Yeah.
You can only have one electric provider. You can't. I've been a proponent of generators.
Mm-hmm.
That if you really want energy efficiency, you've got to let people have their own energy because that's where the innovation happens.
Right.
People will innovate to have their own way of doing things. Go to northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
Live on a lake if you really want to see innovation. Because that's where the generators come in. That's where the septic systems are different.
Yeah.
You want to see, that's where they use the well water.
Right.
That we in cities aren't allowed. It's been cemented over. We've talked about it where I used to live in Crystal and all that. That's over an aquifer that we can't access.
Right. I actually bought my house believing I had a well and found out later that it had been capped when I bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over the same aquifer I used to be. So I can't do it either. So there's a reason that they do that, and the reason is so that they can control what you use and they know everything about you. They know how long your showers are. They know what you set your thermostat at. There's nothing that escapes. Whatever you think they know 10 times as much.
Right.
Somewhere there's Jason Bradley using X amount of water and X amount of molecules or atoms or gigawatts or whatever of something. Trust me, folks, there is something on you. You could say I'm paranoid if you want. Okay, but there is. And again, this is why they don't want you driving cars, because a car is something they can't control. I could take my car and go anywhere. If I want to drive 20 minutes to work, I can. If I want to go up north for the weekend, I can. I can't take transit and do that. Okay, so my car is a basin of freedom as well.
There's more control with an electric car. They can limit travel by, these electric batteries won't let you go as far. And so it takes you longer to get there, so you don't go as far. And with OnStar and stuff like that, they can shut the cars down.
Oh, that's true. And the other thing, though, is that they're never going to sell enough electric cars, though, if that's the case.
Right.
They're in a quandary there because, what are you going to do? How are you going to have a semi-truck that's electric if it can't go more than 50 miles?
Right.
We're nowhere near that. I'm sorry, no matter what Biden says and that flake for a vice president, we are nowhere near electric buses. To be in use the way that they need to be.
Right.
We're nowhere near it.
A school bus maybe, but not a Greyhound.
Not in certain weather, though. Maybe in California, maybe in Arizona, but Minnesota?
I don't know.
We're decades from an electric bus system.
Arizona in July, you think that's not going to affect the battery?
Well, you got to pour a lot of coolant in there, I guess.
Yeah.
And you have to mine for copper. I mean, that's the other part that they don't tell you.
We can't mine anywhere.
Yeah, you have to. The batteries take copper, and the charging stations take coal. So which is an interesting nugget to throw in there that I bet you don't hear about on CNN and all the corporate welfare. But the thing about these smart cities is not just the control, but the blatant way they sell this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the little brochures of the handicapped person,
right?
Wheeling down the street or whatever like that, falling over or something, or the inclusiveness, the black kid and the white kid holding hands, and that's supposed to. How could you oppose that, Jay?
Right.
Who the hell are you to do that?
Safe routes to school and bike lanes that are dedicated for bikes.
How could you oppose that, Jay?
Yeah, I guess I can't.
I can.
You won me over.
Well, like I said,
yeah.
You can't beat them, join them. I want to say something too about, and I am going here. What is a smart city? Definition and 6 examples. This is from bigrenz.com, RENTZ. A story by Liam Stannard, January 27th, 2023. And this guy's just, humping a lamppost writing this. Smart cities are implementing smart technologies in everything from street lamps and drones to robotics and building information modeling. So you think they're not collecting everything they can on you?
Absolutely.
The characteristics of a smart city. And how could you oppose this, Jay? How could you oppose safer streets?
Well, when you put it that way.
Improved infrastructure, better city utilities, prioritized public safety, improved transportation, and healthier environments. I mean, how in the world can you oppose those things? Who are you to oppose safer streets? They said this is safer streets, and you can't. You are not allowed to say that they're wrong.
What was it that Ben Franklin said? Something about you can't have liberty and security together. You can have one but not the other. Why is it that I feel like we need to live in bumper bowling land? Everything's got to be safe. You can't ever fall in the gutter.
There's no risk, Al. You can't have an acorn hit you in the forehead.
It's
safer streets.
Yeah.
Connected street cameras, body cameras, commercial vehicle dash cams, all monitoring activity, and sharing data in real time. Monitoring activity.
Yes.
This data, gives first responders and city officials the information they need to detect, respond, and prevent How can you prevent a road accident?
With a camera? I suppose you could put a microphone in there. Hey, you, slow down.
It prevents.
I don't know.
It prevents potholes.
What?
There's a pothole there. Hey, okay, we see it on camera.
Yeah, that's not going to get people.
I got an idea. Fill it.
I tell you this way. I remember a lot of streets around here that after this winter where I'd pass the same potholes about 70,000 times. You telling me that somebody from the city didn't pass by them twice? Could have written a report up and turned it in at City Hall?
Yeah.
If they were going to fix them, they'd fix them.
Improved infrastructure. Ooh. In smart cities, an improved infrastructure allows resources to go further and allow for heightened safety preparedness. For example, resources like garbage collection can only be stretched so far in a typical city, making trash collection inaccessible for many.
Ooh.
What? Huh?
Who doesn't get their garbage picked up? Except the homeless in San Francisco.
All you got to do is call up a company and say, hey, Would you like my business? Sure. What's your address? All right, we'll bring a couple cans out tomorrow. Yeah. That's what I did.
That works for me too. But in your more communist type cities, they supply it for you.
You're not wrong. Listen to this.
Yes.
Some smart cities are now using waste sensors to detect garbage levels and determine who needs a garbage pickup and who doesn't. So, I'd like my garbage picked up this week. No, my sensor on your property, which I have no right to put there, according to the Fourth Amendment,
right,
says you don't need your garbage picked up. So it gets to sit there and stink for another week.
Right.
You didn't create enough trash. You got to create more garbage to get us to pick up there. Maybe, throw your old Walkman in there, throw your Roxette records, throw everything. You're not picking up enough trash.
Yeah, but I got a bunch of fish guts and all the squirrels are coming over and chewing on my garbage can. Oh, well.
Hey, you know what I do? I wheel it to City Hall. Here, take it here. Doing this allows garbage collectors to maximize their collection routes. So you're going to share this information with a garbage collector that I do not choose.
Right.
And they're going to detect whether they need to pick my trash up or not? What the hell is that?
And it allows garbage collectors to maximize their collection routes and serve more businesses and homes. I'm sorry, but there is nobody in a city that is not getting their garbage picked up unless they do not pay for a service. And in these services or in these cities where they mandate who you get as a garbage collection provider, you don't even have that option. You are supplied with a can and it's added into your property taxes.
That's true. But imagine that they can't have it picked up. No, you didn't create enough garbage.
Right.
Week.
To me, it sounds like a way for garbage companies to lay people off and not have as many people.
Well,
put more out of business.
Not only that, but it ruins my freedom of choice.
Right.
I don't get to choose. What if I don't like the service I'm getting?
Yeah.
Better utilities. You know how we can get better utilities? Take Xcel Energy, take the government, throw them in a box and get rid of them. That's how we could do it. Every home and business needs access to tap water. But what if your city went above and beyond to test and monitor it? Oh, I trust them.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you like to live in East Palestine right now?
They're doing a great job.
Trust them to do it.
Yeah.
Sure. This is a reality in some smart cities. City lighting is also becoming increasingly smarter instead of dumber. It turns on by itself.
Ooh.
And the more cost-effective with LED lampposts that adjust their brightness depending on the time of day and weather conditions. Smart cities are adopting a smart grid where listen to this, energy consumption is analyzed to offer optimal electricity supplies at the right time to the right places. In other words, we're going to decide
who gets it
and who don't.
Uh-huh.
Right time to the right places.
Right.
So if I want my air conditioner on because I'm hot and I'm not feeling well,
yep.
Well, you know what?
Sorry.
It's not the right time at the right place.
Yeah.
We're gonna take that energy and direct it somewhere. I mean, what are they saying? If that's not what they're saying, what are they saying?
That is exactly what they're saying. And we saw that in action. Xcel Energy in Colorado last summer dictated the level of AC that could be used. That's not some made up scenario. It happened. It happened.
Well, and again, with one provider, what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. Go get solar panels? Put a windmill on your roof? Good luck.
Especially in Colorado. I mean, the drastic weather they have there.
Yeah.
That windmill might be in Utah by the end of I'm serious.
Yeah.
How can you put up weather vanes in a mountain?
Yeah.
There's just some places where it just doesn't work. Why can't we just say that? I mean, electric vehicles just right now can't work everywhere. Mm-hmm. Maybe in 20 years it'll be different. I don't know. But again, And then again, I want to say something too about that. If electric cars want to be made, marketed, priced, and people want to buy them in the free market, that is different than what's going on right now.
Right.
Where they're trying to be forced on us, forced on the automakers. Why do the automakers go along with this? Probably because they're getting free stuff. I mean, they're getting corporate welfare.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're getting. Where are we?
Oh, do we want?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to read it.
we probably should.
How does a okay? Well, you read it. I don't want to read this crap.
What?
Where are we?
We're a healthier environment.
I don't want to read that one.
Well, okay.
That one's terrible.
Using air pollution sensors, smart cities can effectively monitor carbon dioxide emissions and car pollution. This monitoring allows city dwellers to redirect their traffic flow to avoid breathing in toxins, airborne illnesses, and other pollutants that can be detrimental to a person's health. Really, it allows city dwellers to redirect their traffic flow so they can all go to another part of the city and fill it with CO2?
I don't understand that either. Was that somebody warming their car up in their driveway and their CO2 levels are up? I don't know. By the way, just for all you science geeks out there, CO2 is necessary in our environment. We don't have
trees breathe it in.
We don't have carbon dioxide. We have no living things.
Yeah, carbon monoxide you don't want, but the carbon dioxide, not so bad. Improved transportation. Smart cities are all about efficiency.
Let me guess. I'm not even going to read it.
Yes.
Transit, driverless cars.
Yep.
More walking and biking, sidewalks, smart streets, whatever. I'm. That's as far as I can
go. Smart parking meters as well.
Parking meters. Yeah. What's that for?
I don't know.
Do electric cars have to have parking meters? Are they subject to that?
Electric cars? Oh, yeah, I'm sure. If you're going to park, how's the city going to get their money out of you if you don't pay to park?
Whatever. Smart cities are getting time back in their day when they no longer have to waste time sitting in a congested area. Yeah, right.
That's called, it was COVID. People learned to work from home and it's not as congested anymore. That's what happened.
Look, there's no way you're going to get rid of road congestion. It's there.
Yeah.
There are busy times of the day anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere in the world. There are busy times. Try driving in New York City, ending it by building a sidewalk.
Right.
God, these people are dumb. You know what? Here's the thing, too. I want to know who came up with this and how much they were paid. Because I'm going to tell you something. Yes. When I say we can't beat them, join them, we got to get into this racket. And we got to make this even worse and just collect all the money.
Yeah.
You know what? I got a better idea.
Yeah.
Instead of with smart cities, you and I ought to create smarter cities.
Ooh.
Brilliant cities.
Brilliant cities. Now that's marketable.
Yeah. What do you call it? Road scholar cities. We need something like that.
Yeah. ROAD.
Mind-blowing cities.
Champion cities.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. We need to have like theme music. And then we ought to take this and make it even worse.
Yeah.
And I bet somebody
create a bunch of crappy awards.
Exactly.
Made out of plastic and fiberglass.
That's right. We gave Jerkwater USA the award for best nuclear street. I don't know.
Nuclear streets. I love it. What a great idea. Nuclear streets.
Carbon free. Make up, and then we ought to just go to like these city halls and say, look at what we've created. You want to be a smart city? No, we got a brilliant city.
Yes.
And look at what we did. We gave this award to, whatever, Jackoffville, and this is what we're going to have. You ought to be as good as them.
Right.
Let me tell you something. We've got the blueprint.
I noticed coming in here, quite a few potholes. You obviously don't have nuclear streets.
Exactly. I don't even know what that means.
I like it, though. It's marketable.
Nuclear streets. Picture of Hiroshima on there. Hey, no potholes there.
No.
That's one big pothole. I don't know what I'm saying. But Jay, continue. Just continue.
Yes.
Just kill us all here.
I'll set the nuclear streets right next to the wind-powered swimming pools.
You're terrible.
Oh, yes, I am. Admittedly. Oh goodness. Transportation, public safety, prioritized public safety. If a city is striving to make itself more livable, it has to guarantee better law enforcement and emergency response to increase public safety. Smart cities are using emergency cameras to give dispatchers and first responders optimal routes to scenes like car accidents, fires, natural disasters, crime scenes, and other emergencies.
Isn't that called MapQuest?
Yeah, it kind of is. Google Maps does that. Apple Maps, Waze. That's a really good one. Smart city features are always evolving as cities adapt and adopt to new technologies. So that people can get to natural disasters faster. I think natural disasters are kind of everywhere, right? Like a tornado blows through town, you're kind of there already.
Well, and if a tornado is blowing through town, does it really matter what route you take to get there? Hey,
yeah.
The entire west side of the city just got decimated. Get on our informational stuff there and figure out the fastest way to get there.
Right.
Turn those cameras on. The cameras would probably be blown away by the natural. There's an earthquake. I'm guessing the cameras didn't survive.
Yeah.
Just cars fall off a bridge. I'm guessing the cameras go with.
Right. Well, here's the real kicker, though, with these smart cities. Here is how they make change. They collect real-time data by cameras and sensors, smart cameras and sensors. They analyze the data to understand and identify pain points and what can be improved. Communication. Once data is collected and analyzed, solutions are proposed to decision makers and city officials. A, who's proposing the solutions, and 2, why is the community not involved in this? Decision makers and city officials. They're skipping over the people that live there. And 4, action plans are put into place to improve the quality of life for the city population. That's where the city population comes in, is step 4 at the very end, after the action plan is already put in place. You get to benefit from it. How generous.
You get to be told what's going to happen
Yes.
after the decision's made.
Isn't that great?
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but how many times, Jay, over the years, you and I have done this a long, long time.
Yeah.
Have we looked into comprehensive plans? Have we looked into, and they all have some version of that model.
Yes.
They all have some, they may not word it the same, but community input. Community input needs to be in the front, and it never is. It's always in the back. It's always, it's gather data, get together, and then it becomes a selling job.
Yeah.
How do we sell this? How do we get people to think this is a good idea, even if it's not?
Right.
That's what it becomes. It becomes a sell job.
You're right. It's all about marketing.
So
you're a target market, and that's how they view you.
Here's what's great, though. If you look at their smart city examples, this is what I love.
Yeah.
What makes Seoul, South Korea smart? Can you just take a guess at what makes it smart? First off, let me just say, Seoul is known for its highly advanced public transportation.
Oh, of course.
Recent additions have included air quality filters, free phone chargers, and enhanced Wi-Fi in passenger cars. To top it off, Seoul will soon be the first city to offer car hailing service with autonomous driving vehicles by partnering with Hyundai Motor Group.
Wow, so there goes every Uber driver on Earth.
Exactly.
Gone, done. You're going to be in driverless cars.
Absolutely. Replaced by machines.
Yep.
Seoul, South Korea. What makes Seoul, South Korea so smart? They're always seeking They are prioritizing the health and well-being of their citizens, and they seek ways to make living and publicly commuting in the city more efficient and a pleasant experience. Oh,
all those free phone chargers.
Yeah.
That's nice.
As if we don't spend enough time staring at the phone.
Right. Well, now you can do it in the car because there's not going to be a driver. So they can control where you go and when you go there. How lovely.
Copenhagen,
Yes.
Denmark, is actively encouraging citizens to innovate. Actually, citizens will innovate. They don't need encouragement if you just get out of their way.
Right.
And create smart solutions that offset the effect urbanization has had on climate change. In fact, Copenhagen's main target is to become the carbon neutral city by 2025. And if they don't get it, oh well, there'll be no accountability. It'll just be by 2073.
Right. And their whole goal is to become a carbon neutral city by 2025. And Copenhagen authorities collect data about citizens, businesses, and real estate trends to use this digitized information to offer free access to public blah, 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 blah. That's nice that they're collecting data on citizens and businesses, and they talk about it freely.
Well, I mean, they want to be carbon neutral. The only way to do that is with control.
Yep.
If you allow freedom, then you can't. There's no way you can reach that.
Absolutely.
And can I just say this? They won't reach that. They'll never reach that. It will never happen. They're liars.
Yeah.
They're scum. It will never happen. How does New York make a smart city?
Oh, boy.
I mean, outside of the Yankees, I don't know what New York does that's smart at all.
Yeah, they hired a rat czar.
They need one. Starting City Hall.
Yeah.
Did I skip over London?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, well, you read that in a minute. New York City Smart City Project first took place in 2020 when hundreds of smart sensors were installed through the city. The goal of these sensors is to collect data. By the way, can we see this data? Where's this
Doesn't
data
sound like
published?
it. I don't know.
Should help manage city services like waste management and collection. The city is also taking steps to modernize outdated utilities, like replacing payphone booths. You still got payphone booths? That makes it a smart city.
Superman's got to change somewhere.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of cities that have eliminated that. New York
That's
is also
their claim to fame. We stepped out on a ledge, and in 2023, we got rid of our payphone booths.
Yeah, and this is hilarious.
Yeah.
New York is also concerned about public safety. Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I don't think it's terrain modeling and data collection. I think it's called I don't know, what do you call that? Enforcing the law?
Oh, keeping people in jail once they're arrested? How about that?
I mean, what a concept. Maybe if you quit letting criminals out of jail, maybe that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You got a crime problem that has nothing to do with being a smart city. But see, Jay, when we have the brilliant city, there will be no criminals.
That's right.
Because we're going to let everybody out. Everybody will be out. Because that's more brilliant than the smart city.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we're going to ban cars in the brilliant city because that's more brilliant than smart. I mean, if it's destroying the earth, why are we waiting till the year 2070? Why don't we ban cars today?
Right. Let's just turn them off. Everybody turns their keys in at City Hall and it's done.
Hey, how many cars too have little controls on them anyway? But somebody has.
Yeah.
I mean, just let's stop doing anything if we're destroying the planet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So in a brilliant city, that's what we're gonna do. There'll be no cars allowed.
Yeah. No jobs either. So you don't have to commute at all.
And there'll be no drinking water. You're gonna have to go down to the river and get buckets.
Bring it home, boil it. And
exactly.
This is starting to sound better and better all the time.
How bad can we make this? I mean, seriously, I'm just trying to think here. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back and read something.
You need to use the bathroom? Hey, just use the gutter.
Exactly. No, okay. Just pretend you're at Civil War prison camp or something. I mean, Andersonville, pretend you're there. I mean, we can make this. I mean, we can make this as good as humanly possible. I mean, and in fact, here's what else we're going to do about garbage collection. Here's what we're going to do in the Brilliant City. We are not going to have a truck come by to get it because that destroys the environment.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have to take your can of garbage and you're going to have to wheel it down to City Hall. And because City Hall, everybody has to live within half a mile because that's the walking distance.
Right.
So everybody has to live within half a mile of City Hall.
Yeah.
You won't need a car because everybody's so compact. So you wheel the garbage, you get off your dead ass and wheel the garbage down there, and you don't need to drive. We're not going to bring a garbage truck. We're going to have narrower streets. And we're going to have, we're not going to have road diets and traffic calming measures. Okay? There's no driving allowed.
Right.
So I've just solved every environmental problem on earth. That, my friends, is a brilliant city. In fact, I'm gonna try to practice that voice there. That, my friends, is a brilliant city. That, my friends, is a brilliant city. I mean, come on, I got it down here. I've been watching the NFL draft coverage now for weeks. I've been working on my Mel Kiper. I've got to work on that.
Yeah.
This is a brilliant city because that could be golden. It could be just golden for me. Jay, you know what? I want to. Again, you and I got to make a business plan on this because we can make a ton of money making cities so horrible. I mean, who cares if the city's horrible if we profit? So because these people don't care. So why should we? Let's make it worse. Let's do because remember, in the world of government, okay, the worse job you do, the more awful you are, the more likely you will stay there. I'm going to call up. I bet we could. Well, you and I couldn't get a meeting around here because people know who we are. Go out somewhere, pick your left-leaning state or whatever. Let's see if we can get a meeting somewhere. Create a fake website, and like you said, a bunch of fake awards, and we get phony pictures of us handing these like certificates or these boxes of chocolates to people who are doing this.
Sure, we could do, through AI, we could create some great photos of us like handing an award over to like Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, I don't know what AI is, but we could definitely do that. I mean, we have to make this as bad as we can.
Yeah. Now, announcing the newest innovation of the brilliant city. Yeah. Equitable waiting lines. Are you white? Get to the end.
Equitable bus seating.
Whitey, get to the back.
That's right.
Yes.
Honky's right here. That's what we'll call it. Honky's right here. In fact, we should have and you know what else we'll have?
Yeah.
We'll have the transgender bus.
Oh. Well, of course.
You don't have, anybody can ride this bus. I mean, you can identify as anything that you want.
Yeah.
So we'll have the equitable bus.
Yeah.
That anybody can take. You could be a gay Indian. You could be a former lesbian. You could be whatever you want to, and you could ride this bus. It's equitable for everyone. I mean, that takes it above and beyond anything. In fact, I got a better idea. Let's have the sex change bus. You can actually go to work and get a sex change while you go to work. You could be a man, and by the time you get to work, you're a woman.
Yeah.
And you could have lunch and identify as something else.
I think we'd also need the two-spirit bus.
Yeah. Probably.
Yes.
But I mean, we could take this. You could have the abortion bus.
Oh, they're already doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we can make serious money at this. I mean, if New York qualifies as a smart city.
Yeah.
Are you Norwegian at all?
No, I'm Swedish.
Okay, because Oslo is on here.
Oslo, Norway.
Oslo plans to switch all vehicles in the city to electric only by 2025.
Good luck with that. You got 2 years.
Oslo has a pretty rough winter. Don't. Well, I mean,
And
it also embraces green building practices to allow for population growth without compromising its eco-friendly values. Is Oslo growing in population at all, I wonder?
Yeah, I think that they've got in a bunch of people moving there from like Somalia and stuff like that.
So they've done it the Minneapolis way.
Yes.
Singapore is often considered the world's smartest city, but not brilliant.
No, it's not
With
brilliant.
its advanced economy. What's an advanced economy?
I don't know.
Singapore's smart city initiatives seek to raise productivity. One example is their switch to a digital healthcare system that uses wearable devices and video consultations to care for patients remotely.
I'm not wearing anything.
Wearable device?
Oh,
What's that, like an ankle bracelet on everybody?
kind of. I know that a lot of corporations, and especially in China, are messing around with some of these wearable devices where you have to put on a headset or you have to put in earbuds, and they monitor your brain waves, they monitor your pulse, they monitor all this stuff. They can tell when you're not working, and they can come over and tell you to get back to work.
I want to say this too. You think the government's not trying to ban cars?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Singapore is developing an eco-smart forest city that is vehicle-free and only walkable or cyclable. With over 42,000 homes planned, this no-vehicle zone is sure to draw attention from eco-friendly city dwellers. You know what I hope? They don't sell one home. That's what I hope.
I hope a beaver comes and chews down all the trees in their forest city.
Hey, come on. Get a house here. Oh, you can't drive here. Well, how do I buy the house then and earn a living? Well, you gotta be eco-friendly and walk and bike. Well, I work 20 miles away. Well, you're gonna have to bike there.
You got to carve out a chair with a spoon. I don't know.
But you think government's not trying to get rid of your car, folks? There it is, right in front of your face.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I like when they talk about smart city challenges. Their goal is to make a smart city, make city living more accessible, and making large-scale updates and using tech that collects and shares large amounts of data can come with plenty of challenges. Transparency is a challenge. I would say it's a challenge. But they mean it differently than I would mean it. I would mean it transparency. We should be able to see what you're doing. They mean collected and shared data must be accurate and shared in real time. That's their worry. Exactly. Availability. Cities are responsible for installing sensors and smart cameras, but must also offer a reliable way for individuals and businesses to receive the data. Well, cities are responsible for installing them. I will tell you and assure you of this. There will be plenty of federal money that will go around giving grants to cities that are willing to put this infrastructure in. Infrastructure. We've heard that word before. They wouldn't know the meaning of the word. Yeah. Data must not be manipulated by officials to paint the city in a more positive light. No. In fact, I doubt they would ever do that. I believe that they would paint a worse light so that they can do more lousy things. Confidentiality. Some collected data may not be intended for public consumption, like the stuff they don't want you to know about that they're collecting.
Well,
yes.
Public consumption, I take that as they don't want us to see it.
Right.
Not that they can't see it.
Right.
They can't show. They don't want to show it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be collected. Anything's on the table. We just don't want to share it or even let you know we're collecting it. Accountability, of which there will be none. Cities are responsible for who sees what data and how it's used. Exactly. Where there is highly sensitive data, user logs should be enforced to ensure accountability for who accessed the data and how they plan to use it. But we have no way to hold them accountable for what they're doing, looking at, or monitoring and collecting.
No, we know what that means. They're gonna do it themselves. They're gonna be the monitors. They're gonna police themselves.
Yes. Just trust us. We're the government. Oh, boy. So, it's all about this Internet of Things and about connecting things together so that they can collect data from every vantage point that they can possibly do it. I remember we were talking before the show about Lou Dobbs a little bit. And I remember he had Jerome Corsi on his show at one point, dealing with kind of a North American Union kind of thing. Remember that?
Lou is one of the few people who tackled that at the time.
Right. Very few. And he got in a lot of hot water for it. But it was proven that there were a lot of places that were trying to create like this major thoroughfare down 35. Yes. Down 35 all the way, from Duluth down to the border. And, with this major port in Kansas City. And
where American law would have no sovereignty, right?
Right. And well, I know there were rumors about that, but what there was a series of sensors that were going to go up and down 35 to be able to track shipments of cargo in between like Kansas City at the central hub and wherever it was going out to the, from there. So, this was how many years ago? This was
mid-2000s.
Mid-2000s. And they were already talking about putting sensors in things and collecting data and tracking where, at least at that time, semi-trucks went.
It was the NAFTA superhighway, the Trans-Texas Corridor. That was part of it. They also kicked around a North American currency,
the Amero.
Amero. I mean, that's literally that. And by the way, I want to say this too. That comes from the Independent Task Force on North America, where Robert Pastor, who's often considered the sort of the king of this, some writer on foreign affairs. He's just one of these Bill Kristol types. He's since passed away, but this stuff was talked about openly by governments. Mexico, Vicente Fox, when he was the president there, he actually openly spoke of this.
He did.
This isn't a conspiracy. It was literally talked about. And some, have claimed that the Security and Prosperity Partnership of North America was basically put together. It's defunct now, officially. Right. I don't buy that it's...
They're just trying to do it a different way.
Yeah, I'm sure under President Trump it went backwards, but I mean, they're just not doing it as openly now. I mean, Phyllis Schlafly, she was somebody else who talked about this. Yeah, she's since passed away too. But I mean, there are other people that have. Ron Paul has, Duncan Hunter. There's other people that have pointed out things like this that. And they're all basically marginalized by being called. It's like, no, they are reporting what the mainstream media refused to do. But you're right. These sort of initiatives are nothing new. They've been around for a long, long time. It's just openly being implemented in front of our faces. Yeah. And nothing's being done. Nothing's being reported. Nothing's being talked about. No one cares. I mean, it's just hell.
Yeah. So this has been going on for a long time, 20 years, where they have been trying to get things in place technology-wise to track and to trace and to collect and to monitor so that they can enforce. That is the ultimate goal, is to be able to enforce decisions upon the population, when they can travel, where they can travel, how they can travel, how they can live, where they can live, what kind of dwelling you can live in, and it goes into everything.
And let me say one last thing: they are fine. In fact, they are happy to do this incrementally. That's the real key: is to paper cut you to death. Right. Like one of the main things I keep pointing out in the country. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not just talking about land out in Wyoming. That's federal land. How much land that local government owns, and your counties own, and your school district own, and your watershed owns, and it is probably half the land in this country is owned by some form of government. And if they can restrict where you can live at some point, we are all over time mushed together.
Yeah.
Well, you can't live here, you can't live here, you can't live here. So you all have to live in one of these planned out. And another thing, too, they don't have to have everybody there. They can just have a percentage of the population there.
Right.
So they don't have to have everyone. You can go live in Alaska and in a beaver dam if you want to, but they don't need you. They need 100 other morons that'll live in these cities. Or don't have a choice. They can't move for family or job or whatever. I mean, it's not that easy to just pick up and move. Oh, it's hell on earth, brother.
Yes, it is.
It's El Stinkity Doo-Dah. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing good. There's nothing redeeming out of this. And I'll tell you what. Call me crazy, but I am still a believer in a North American Union. I mean, I am still a believer that the ultimate goal, particularly of Mexico, is to erase borders. And you've seen it. You've seen the United Nations talk about erasing borders. American politicians talk about erasing borders.
Well,
they'll defend Ukraine's border until the cows come home.
What border do we have anymore?
We have a border in some spots.
Where?
Some places in Texas, there's a border.
Yeah.
Some places in Arizona, there's a border. Some places, citizens are the ones monitoring it.
Yeah, but even our northern border is being
our northern border
breached.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's being breached, yet the control mechanisms are there because you need a passport. It's like, okay, you don't believe in borders, yet those very same people require a passport. Why? Yeah. So they know who you are, they know where you're going, when you're going there, where you're traveling.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of where you spend your money. So it's sort of the old, it's the public school advocate sending their kid to private school. It's none of it makes any sense. I mean, look, we may have there is a North American Union. It's just not official.
Right.
And that's not a conspiracy. Read that. I mean, I challenge anybody out there who thinks we're crazy to go research this and read it.
It's true. I mean, you look at what's going on in Canada under Trudeau right now, and the pressure from what's going on there with increased euthanasia, with increased abortion, with increased targeting of people that speak out, and the pressure
freezing their bank accounts.
Yep, pressure upon the United States to follow suit with that. And then from the South, you've got all of these people storming our borders and coming in and
aided and abetted by the Mexican government and sometimes our government too.
Yeah. So we're getting hit from the North and the South that way as far as weakening our country and putting us in a position where our citizens have no rights and anybody in the world can come do anything to us and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, and how about these smart cities who have just no control over getting overrun, these border towns who they have no say in what's going on here.
Right.
I mean, zero, none. And they have no protectors. There's just zero anywhere. You want to enforce a border, you're a racist. I mean, the script is already written. Although those same people will live in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Those same people will, are living out in Elk River. They're living out in Lakeville. You go move to North Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Well, let's see you do that. Not a chance. Go move to South Chicago. Good times, dynamite. Not a chance. But they'll tell you you're a racist if you don't do something.
Right.
Okay. Jay, I'm tired of this podcast.
It's been cheery, right? We've had a good laugh. Just because we're not in the gulag yet.
We're halfway there. We got a foot slipping.
Yeah.
Styling and profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. Jason, Bradley, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew, once again. A lot of good news today, huh? We see it every day in front of us. I mean, we talked earlier about, Fox News and how, they've kind of, a more conservative choice than CNN or MSNBC, but really no better. I mean, our economy is falling apart. We're in danger of having a digital dollar come to us. We are in danger of having ESG scores assigned to every single citizen of this country that will be determining who we can do business with, who we can associate with. I mean, we've already seen it in action in China, and they're putting in the same things here, and we're not hearing about it. Why are we not hearing about it from places that are supposedly conservative and looking to preserve our freedom? Because there is an agenda, and you have the people that are they appeal to those on the left, and you have those that appeal to those on the right, and you just cut out all of the harmful information that would actually cause the people of this country to come together and unify against the changes that are happening. I believe that on the right and on the left, not the far right and far left, but on the right and on the left, you have enough people that believe in freedom, that believe in the concepts of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, not to have your stuff gone through without a warrant. There are so many things that the Bill of Rights that we agree upon and are willing to fight for, that I believe that we could change things immediately if we just knew what was going on. But most people don't know what's going on because they're not plugged into the right places. They're told what is happening, and it's only a portion of the story. It's enough to make us angry at the other party. But really, it's this uniparty that's controlling all of this information that we really need to be worried about. And I'm sorry, there is not enough of us yet that are standing up, and that worries me, that either we are okay with it, or we don't really believe it, or we feel powerless against it. We don't have to feel powerless against it. We are able to come into a place using the tools that are at our disposal in technology, in communication, and be able to put together something that goes through media, that goes through arts and entertainment, that goes through education, that goes through our government, that goes through our families, in our churches, in our businesses, and we then are able to come and apply pressure to those that are changing things in a way that we do not agree with. If we allow this to happen, and we just allow those who want control, who want totalitarian control over our country to succeed, over our world to succeed, then yes, we will be assimilated. And those of us that hold out, that's the end of the line for us. It's going to happen someday if we do not stand now when we have the opportunity. And I'm sorry, for those of you that have not chosen to get in the fight yet, for those of you that have waited for somebody else to do it, for those of you that have decided, yeah, it's not really that bad. It is that bad, and it's worse than you know because you're not paying attention. You don't know about the push to make us eat insects because beef is bad for the climate. Pork is bad for the climate. You don't know about the push to create a digital dollar that can track and trace everything we do, everything we buy. The sensors in our phones that can tell the government exactly where we're at any given moment. We're so busy checking into this place or having our picture at that place. We are sitting ducks. We're allowing ourselves to be regulated out of firearms and ammunition and the ability to keep and to hold. This state is looking at passing red flag laws, which if they deem you as dangerous, they can find a reason to take your firearms away from you. It doesn't matter if it's deserved or not. But, the people who go buy them on the black market and kill people, that actually kill people because they find a way to get a weapon, They're not going to follow these laws. They don't care one bit. And you know that. So what are we going to do differently? How are we going to take back our power to be able to live free lives and not live under the thumb of government and not be controlled and not be tracked and not be traced? What are we going to do? You can no longer afford to sit on the sidelines and do nothing. That time passed a long time ago. And if you don't stand up for yourself, at least stand up for your children. At least stand up for your grandchildren and give them an opportunity at a better life. Put down the Xbox controls. Put down the books. Put down the movies. Put down watching your favorite shows. Put down whatever it is, taking your vacations and living the high life, because if you do nothing, you will be a slave. That's just the way it is. And it might come for you in 20 years. It might come for you next year. You don't know. But either way, your children are going to have to live under it. Your grandchildren are going to have to live under it. And if they stick their neck out on the line because you didn't, they're going to be led to the gulags. They're the ones that are going to be killed for what they believe. I would rather be the one that sacrifices myself for my children, my grandchildren, than to have to make them do it for me because I wanted an easy life. Would I like to have an easy life? Would I like to be able to just go fishing on the weekends and not worry about anything else? Would I like to be able to just take a vacation and then when I get back, start planning another vacation and to sit back on a Saturday afternoon with a book under a tree? Absolutely. But where we're at in life does not afford us that opportunity. I'm looking for people with a pioneer spirit. People that are willing to blaze a trail, that are willing to move forward, that are willing to step into the sunlight and say that they want to be counted and remembered as leaving a legacy for their children that freedom will not die on the vine while they are on the watch. Where are my watchmen that are willing to look across this country and cry out to say, I see the evil that is occurring and I will not keep silent? There are some of us. But there's not enough. We're changing America, whether you believe it or not, whether you see it or not. This weekend in Boston, the largest ever satanic festival or conference or whatever is happening. We are going in the wrong direction. We are not going in a way that is going to bring about the positive change we want to see. We're slipping into darkness. We're slipping into darkness that is going to overtake us and be worse than anything we have ever seen in history. The Romans, the Nazis, the Chinese, the Soviets, there's going to be no comparison. The things that we are going to devise in our mind to do when AI hits its full stride. We have to be better people. We have to be ready to love, to receive, and to mentor and build each other up, to comfort each other, to encourage each other. So that's going to mean us getting our lives straight. That's going to mean us being better people in traffic, in communication, in serving one another day to day, just in life. So what are we going to do about that? Because we've got an opportunity. We haven't lost it yet. But it's going to take you to stand up and say that you want to be counted. For you to say that freedom will not die on your watch. We need people to help us. Two guys sitting in an underground bunker in an undisclosed location. We can't do it. Two scrappy fighters from parts unknown. We can't do it all by ourselves. We can sound the alarm. We can send out a signal to the ends of the earth, but it's really going to be when the rest of everybody decides that they're done. They've had it. And they start to put common sense back into governing, into our schools, into the way we do business, into our families, into our churches, into arts and entertainment, into media. Because right now, all of it is lacking common sense. Who's going to stand? Who's willing to be the last outpost? As all of this stuff is coming down, that if everybody else is taken out, that we will not be moved. Join us. Come along, because we got a ride ahead of us that it might be bumpy, but it's going to be well worth it. Comment. Let us know you're in. Email us at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. commsolutionsmn@gmail.com, and let us know you're in. Let's build a team. Let's move forward. Let's take our country back from these leftist radicals that are here only to destroy and enslave. We love you, Minnesota, but now it's your turn to get to work. Take my life, caught a break between the lines. Don't let me be. If I get too caught